shall be his pride and delight, children of the living God. Into the world of Eden regained, let's go marching together. The Father's dwelling place is the throne of new life. Now our resurrection is come, which we long awaited. May the word of God in my heart resound, so eternally to receive his joy. We shall be his pride and delight, children of the living God. Into the world of Eden regained, let's go sing it together. The Father's dwelling place is the eternal paradise. We'll be friends he had to reserve, will be freely given. May the word of God in my heart resound, so eternally to receive his praise. We shall be his pride and delight, children of the living God. Into the world of Eden regained, let's go dancing together.
Thank you.
So we're going to have a couple of testimonies now. I just want to start with a reading from our True Father. Ladies and gentlemen, as people face death, and this is what he said when he came to London just over a year and a bit ago. As people face death, they may tremble in fear and terror if they do not understand the true meaning of passing on. Although human history has continued for more than 6,000 years, no one, unfortunately, has clearly taught the truth regarding death. Now, in the last days of history, I, as the true parent of humankind, have been able to reveal this truth, this heavenly secret. The Songhua Ascension Ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, the word death is sacred. It is not a synonym for sadness and suffering. True parents have created the term Songhua Ascension to explain the true significance of death. The moment we enter the spirit world should be a time that we enter a world of joy and victory with the fruits born of our lives on earth. It is a time for those of us remaining on earth to send off the departed with joy. It should be a time for great celebration. We should be shedding tears of joy instead of tears of sadness. That is the way of the sacred and noble Songhua ceremony. The first step the spirit of the departed takes toward enjoying eternal life in attendance of God within his embrace. At the moment of death, our spirits should feel more excited and thrilled than a newlywed bride feels when she goes to her groom's house for the first time. So, I want to invite up Sabaya Sabambi. Is he here? Yeah. And I've asked, because the program's shorter, I asked all those giving a testimony if they can really be very disciplined and keep it to 5 minutes and really encapsulate and summarize everything that they want to share in their testimony about our true Father in 5 minutes. So I will give all of you a look and a sign, which is a sign not of any reproach, but just keep us on time.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. One of the things I've come to realization of is that the longer I'm in the Unification Church, the less I know about it, really. But I can say, from the point of view that in my life, the best people I've ever met in the Unification Church are in the Unification Church, And I'm really very grateful for that, anyway. And if I had not been in the Unification Church, I regard myself as being on a long march to nowhere. And my life would not have come to anything. But I've come to some realizations very recently. And it was Mama's thought, really, my wife, really, who's been in Korea now. And she said, we are here mourning, but for all we know, our true Father is in the spiritual world now, working very, very hard anyway to advance God's providence. Second point, a couple of months ago, I believe Hunjinim gave him a sermon about Father's 7 days and resurrection. And this is in fact Father's 8th death. But there was to be no 8th resurrection, and the reason is very simple. For all of us who know how important numbers are in the divine principle, 8 in number of new starts. So our Father was destined to go to the spiritual world. Also, Injinim gave a sermon recently while she was still president of the North American Church, saying that our world is moving from a world of macho, masculine leadership to a much more artistic, feminine leadership, And I remember cracking a joke anyway that cracking the English joke, as they say, that it's never over until the fat lady sings. And believe me, it's got nothing to do with the size of the woman, I can assure you. Now, someone asked True Father why he makes long speeches. And he said, when I make long speeches, I can see members resurrecting. And when I stop speaking, I can see members dying spiritually. So Mother apparently in recent times asked True Father, why do you have these long Hundokwe sessions, 22 hours Hundokwe, 23 hours, 12 hours Hundokwe? And Father said, because members don't do enough Hundokwe. So I then came to the realization that if we want to continue to connect to our true Father, we want to spend as much of our spare time, that we have, doing Hundokwe, and by doing as much Hundokwe as possible, we can connect to true Father. Because as true Father says, I am the embodiment of my word. I live in it. And, so we need to understand this, Then I came to a very deep realization about also one reason why True Father went to the spiritual world recently. When I was speaking to our elder sister Ann Hughes, Daimonim said in at least 2 speeches recently that only 20% of the spiritual world has been restored. And let's face it, Daimonim has done a fantastic job, but True Father has had to go to the spiritual world to really help to quicken the pace of God's providence, to moving forward, so that to work with all the other true children and all the people, all the other saints in the spiritual world, So we have to do this to move this forward. And also, isn't it very ironic that our true Father has, in this year, 2012, is believed to have been predicted by the Incas to be the biggest turning point in humanity. Isn't it very interesting that our true Father has gone to the spiritual world in this year? Also, my final point is this, ladies and gentlemen. We have all received a very shocking email from Simon recently. And he's talking about why Injinim is no longer president of the North American Church, really. And I'm very, very sorry about this because he's given some very, very wonderful sermons which I have enjoyed, But then I realized that because of what was happened, which I'm not going to repeat here. I don't even feel worthy to even repeat it anyway. But the quick question is, I remember Injinim said in a sermon, one second generation of blessed child came to her and said, do you know what? I don't believe True Father is the Messiah, And Injinim replied, join the club. And then I then came to the realization that whatever happens, even if more prejudices affect the Unification Church, Father is still the Messiah. And we must unite together and work with our true Father. So let's get over what Gina has done and get a life. Because as I said in the Lord's Prayer, and forgive in the Lord's Prayer, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. So if we think Gina has trespassed against us, let us forgive us and let us move forward as a movement. Thank you very much indeed.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. My testimony is really a testimony from 1978. Maybe it's long ago. However, my experience was vivid. It's not my testimony of matching. I don't like to talk about my testimony under circumstance. I want to show an example of how Father knew us inside out. He knows you inside out. He knows me inside out. Even on earth, it was like that. And the second thing, he cared. The story is this. There was at the time a German brother called Wolfgang. He was sitting there like Kuni Masai sitting, but on the floor. And I was here, like about Angelina, and Father was here. So Father asked this brother, you knew somebody before the church, didn't you? If you don't know what it means, children, it means, did you have a girlfriend or a partner? Yeah, that's what he asked to this brother. And the brother said, yes, Father. And he says, where is she? Is she in the church? Yes, Father, in America. And Father said, would you like to be blessed with her? And he says, yes, Father. What do you think? That she want to be blessed with you? I don't know, Father. But he said, you communicate, you write. He said, no, never write. For how many years? For 7 years. Father said, if you have done that offering to God for 7 years of your life, separate completely and not even communicate with your relationship with your previous, girlfriend or partner, he said, God is ready to bless you together. And he asked again, don't you think she would like to be blessed with you? I have no idea, Father. So Father asked Reverend Vincent, can you phone America and try to talk to her and explain there is a matching going on and a blessing in 2-3 days? And tell her that the situation and if she wants to be blessed with Wolfgang. Reverend Vincent's phone. But this conversation I tell you here took already something like 15 minutes. I shortened it, okay? So, Rainer Vincent went, and the next day, Father looked at the brother again and say, oh, Rainer, what is about this sister in America? And he says, Rainer says, I phoned her, but she was a bit shocked. She didn't know what was happening, and she could not answer. Okay, Father said, phone her again now, 24 hours later, phone her again and find out. And Father say very clearly, ask her if she wants to be blessed with Wolfgang, then she should come by the first plane and be here tomorrow night for the blessing. If she say no, just ask her if she doesn't mind if Wolfgang is blessed with someone else. You know how true Father care? It's incredible. That story, I have it in my mind, like yesterday, And then Rainer Vincent's phone again, and the answer was she didn't want to be blessed with him. Was it maybe too quick? She had no time to think and prepare. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know the reason, but she didn't want to, and he was finally blessed with someone else. But that shows me one thing very deeply, is that Father knew this brother very well, and he knew he was caring for him and for her. And I have the same situation for myself. I know that Father was very much caring. Do I have another minute or what? Yeah? Just because I didn't look at the time. So I don't want to go over 5 minutes. 5 minutes, 5 minutes. It's got God's blessing on that. Okay, so when before the church, I thought if Jesus was on earth, he could choose my husband. So when I find out the Messiah was on earth, and I believe he was the Messiah very quickly, I said, great, no problem. So when we had the blessing, I was in the 7 clouds. I was waiting for the matching with great expectation, and I knew that was a certitude, that was what God wanted. But do you know, at one point he said, brothers, can you choose if you know somebody in the sister, and sister, can you choose if you know some brother that you would like to be matched? I said to myself, no, not to me. I'd stay very sit on the floor, and I didn't really want to choose anybody. I wanted the Messiah to choose. You know, I'm the only one to we say after a little while, stand up and choose. And I look for a scarf to go like this and turn, but I didn't find a scarf. I would have done it. And then I was full of emotion because I didn't find a scarf, and I wanted to show my face in the Messiah. And then I started to cry. But then Mrs. Holm knew exactly what was going on, or Mr. Holm, and said to Father, and then the translator said to me, you can sit down, Father, understand your situation. So, yeah, you see how Father knows us so deeply. He knows our story, he knows our past, he knows who we are. And this is my experience through Father. Now in the spiritual world, I feel very peaceful because I could not talk with True Father when he was on earth. But now I can talk with True Father. Amen. So, I do.
Is Joanna Hartle here? Okay, maybe later. So, we're going to have a couple of songs. Just as they're getting ready, I want to read to you a testimony, just a short testimony. Don't know if you've seen this website, reflectionsonfather.com. Really recommend you have a look at it. It's a very beautiful site. This is just from one brother about a recent experience with True Father. In the later years of Father's life, I had the privilege of working close to him. When signing on for the job, I never in my wildest dreams imagined the way that it would change me. Secretly, I had hoped that there would be a moment where I could catch him breaking out of character, to affirm any doubts that I had had about him. It never happened. In fact, quite the opposite. Never once did he let me down in the countless hours I spent with him. He inspired me quietly through his actions, the sincerity and dedication with which he did everything and in every word that he spoke. My last impression of Father is of his discipline and the way he carried himself. One afternoon on the job, I watched as he walked towards me, climbing a set of steps. He was 90, and to climb them, he had to use every bit of his strength in his arms, holding the railings to pull himself up each step, while his legs did little work at all. They were weak, and he was no longer youthful, and his body was catching up to his age. That evening, I promised myself, with hesitation, that I would wake up early the next morning to participate in his daily tradition of reading God's words at 5 a.m. After snoozing my alarm clock multiple times at 4:30, I managed to get to the service, albeit with my eyes half open. At 4:50, he walked in and began with a prayer. Only 15 minutes into the service, he stood up and started to give a sermon, at which point I was hoping that the service would go no more than an hour so that I could go back to sleep. 4 hours into the service, I had taken a good nap, 2 bathroom breaks, scribbled in a notebook, and wondered multiple times why I decided to wake up this early. Meanwhile, Father was still standing. Father was still standing, reading and preaching with his chair directly behind him. Those legs that could barely get up the stairs the day before were standing for 4 hours. I'll never forget that morning, perhaps in part because of how impossibly hard it was to keep my eyes open. But what I took with me was how incredibly hard Father works and the grace with which he carries himself. Carrying on and pushing through, even at 90, he became an inspiration for how to live as I look forward to the years ahead, and gave me resolve to approach the challenges in my own life. Not once did he ever let me down. I saw how much he loved and cared for everyone, especially his early followers, and never wanted to let them down. Every day started with God's words while most were still sleeping, and every day served a purpose much greater than himself. He stood strong on his feet, no matter how weak his legs were, and he stood strongly by what he believed in. If I could live half my life with the dedication that he lived with, I would have lived it fully. Okay, so let's invite up now, I think are we having Chris or Ted first? Ted's there at the back, Chris is here. Which one of you like to go first? Chris? Okay. So we're going to invite Chris Maloney to sing a song for us and to sing a song to True Father. Thank you.
Hi. So this is a song that I didn't really compose, but someone showed me the chords, and the lyrics are of the poem Crown of Glory. And I wrote this quite a few years ago now. And so when I was asked to sing a song, this was the only one that made sense to me to sing.
When I doubt people, I feel pain. When I judge people, it's unbearable. When I hate people, there's no value to my existence. Yet if I believe I am deceived, if I love, I am betrayed. Suffering and grieving tonight, my head in my hands. Am I wrong? Yes, I'm wrong. Even though we are deceived, still believe. Though we are betrayed, still forgive. Love completely, even those who hate you. Wipe your tears away and welcome with a smile those who know nothing but deceit, those who betray without regret. Oh, Master, Master, the pain of loving. Look at my hands, place my hands on my chest. My heart is bursting, such agony, such agony. But when I love those who acted against me, I brought victory, I brought victory. If you have done the same thing, I will give you the crown of glory. I brought victory, I brought victory. If you have done the same thing, I will give you the crown of glory. If you have done the same thing, I will give you the crown of glory.
Thank Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. That was beautiful. Ted, can we get you up here and hear your beautiful voice? So, Ted O'Grady. I've only heard him sing once before, but when I heard he was going to sing, I was looking forward to it. You want to say something?
Yes. Well, I was thinking I might not ever come to this day in my lifetime with Father talking about living to be 117 years old, and it seemed like Father is indestructible. Those of us who are with him, but alas, the physical body has a limitation. I want to sing this song, which you all know. The context of this song is a father singing to his son going off to war. So I'm imagining true Father's heart toward each of us as we go on our way and we face difficulties. And it's a simple song about the love of a father toward his son and his children. Okay? I'll try my best. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the leaves are falling. 'Tis you must go and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. It's I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. 'Tis I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so. Thank you. Very difficult to stand here and say something adequate in front of True Father. But I thought I wanted to say something because, see, I'm American, and I spent some time with True Father in America. I joined back in 1976 when I was just 20 years old, and I remember Father up there in Tarrytown at my age now, and he was going on about Yankee Stadium and how we had to be Yankees. He always used to like to play with the language, play with the English language or whatever. So we were going to be Yankees to save America. And I was standing way in the back in Belvedere, first time I ever seen Father, and I felt such a strong impulse of fatherly strength and love from Father, just spiritually at that time. And it was just sudden. And we went out and we wore our white uniforms for a month, and we went knocking on doors and went in Yankee Stadium, and all the decorations blew around. And at the end of it all, I was sitting in the van. It was raining and cold, and we all thought we had failed. We all thought we had failed, and it was the end of America. We thought that was it. You know, the next day the nuclear bombs would start falling, and, you know, the Providence would be over. That's what we felt. But the next day, because what happened in Yankee Stadium was this big hurricane and storm, and it didn't go as well as we had hoped. It was just quite wild, really. But the next day, we went to Belvedere, and the sun was shining, and there was a big sign that said, "The victory of the Yankee Stadium rally." And I remember walking in there and said, "Victory of the Yankee Stadium rally? What rally were you at?" You know, just that kind of feeling. And then Father got up and spoke, and then he explained why it was a victory. And he explained how that the members had gotten up on the Yankees baseball dugout in the rain and started singing "You Are My Sunshine," and when it was raining and then the sun came out, and then Father was able to come out and speak. And Father explained why it was a victory. He equated it with himself going to the cross, and his children, his disciples, had faith in him. So when Jesus went to the cross, all his disciples ran away. But when Father went to the cross this time, and all his disciples didn't run away, they united, and they actually made a fervent prayer to God, and God heard the prayer, and then the sun came out. And literally the sun came out, and Father gave his speech. So Father plucked victory from the jaws of defeat like that and lifted us all up. And then, as you know, 3 months later, we went to Washington Monument, which was a huge victory. So I think the point I want to make in remembrance of True Father, and again, I was hoping that I would be 80 years old before I'd see this day. I was imagining Father fishing at the age of 110 in the Pantanal in Brazil, but unfortunately, maybe spiritually, he will be. But I think the point I want to make is that how to remember Father is that I feel that Father is free now. Father's free, and in a sense, we are free as well. And I feel this way. I feel that any of us as children of true parents, any of us who step forward with a pure heart to do anything, with a heart of love for others, living for the sake of others, practicing true love anywhere at any time, then True Father would be there with us side by side. And I'm sure many of you have experienced this already since Father's passing. Is that not